So you figured out what your YouTube channel is going to be about. Your automotive YouTube journey is going to be about Yugos. You're going to name your channel something catchy like Tim's Yugo Garage or something like that, because garage everything, right? Or racing, or maybe, yeah, there you go, Tim's Yugo Racing Channel. You made your name, you started your channel. Now the next question is going to be, what's your channel type going to be? What's your viewership going to be? What type of videos are you going to shoot? And the frustrating answer to that is, you honestly don't really know. You might have an idea, but you don't really know. So let me digress, let me work myself backwards to get back to the forwards here. Welcome to educational channel. This is for automotive YouTubers. I am a professional YouTuber. I'm not real good at it, but I've been doing it a long time and I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I've spent almost 10 years now in the automotive YouTube space and I've been pretty dadburn successful. I've done pretty good. And I've learned a lot of things along the way. One of the biggest things that I've learned is there's not a lot of people that are willing to teach you what you need to know. There are not a lot of places where you can get answers to questions you may not even know that you need to ask. So that's what this channel is all about. I'm just going to share some of my knowledge that I have fought hard and frustrated nights about to learn my way through the YouTube process and hopefully help you. And that's what this is all about. It's not going to be me wrenching. It's not going to be me and my project stuff. It's not going to be going out racing. It's none of that. This is purely going to be for educational purposes. If you're into that kind of thing, great. Glad to have you here. If you're not, you somehow made it to the wrong channel. All right, so anyway, you've got Tim's Yugo Racing Garage channel. Now, the most important question you're going to need to know at this point in time is what type of content are you going to be filming? And by type, I don't mean, yes, obviously, Austin, I'm going to be filming stuff about Yugos. What I mean is, what length of content are you going to be creating? What type of content are you doing? Are you a short form creator? Are you a long form creator? Are you a how-to channel? Are you somewhere in the middle? And that can really depend a lot on what your client base is or what your perceived audience is going to be and what they like to watch. Also, to make this slightly more complicated is how they watch. Now that may be something that doesn't make any sense to you, so let me break this down a little bit. So, there are long-form YouTube channels. There are plenty of them. If you look at Junkyard Digs or Vice Grip Garage or any of the guys that do Will It Run and Drive stuff. You know, you go buy a cheap piece of crap out of somebody's yard or barn or garage or whatever. You do what you need to do to be able to get it up and running, and then you drive it for however far you got to drive it to be able to get it there. All of the shenanigans of getting it roadworthy, and then whatever you encounter along the way. Now those tend to be long videos. Those are longer form videos. Those are 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on who's doing it and what the shenanigans are along the way. So you have to have an audience that's interested in following along for that content. You have to be able to make that content interesting and hold their interest for an extended period of time. Now if you're doing how-to videos, probably not going to be a 2-hour long video. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's still going to be a longer form video depending on what the how-to is. If it's a how to build an LS, yeah, that could be a really long video. It could be a multiple video series. If you can make it interesting and you can keep your audience's attention, it needs to be as long as it needs to be. And that's something that you really got to realize is it needs to be as long as it needs to be. Don't add fluff and don't make it extra long just to be able to make your videos longer. But it needs to be enough that people are still interested and they stick around, while also not being kind of cheated out of, why did I spend an extra 10 minutes watching you turn bolts? You know, keep it interesting, keep it flowing, keep it moving. Now, the flip side of that coin is something like YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts are designed to be less than a minute. I guess now that they technically can be 3 minutes. They're designed for the right now, the casual browser, the person that's not really usually searching for something, they're just being fed this content. Whereas longer form content is typically somebody who's looking for something. They're looking for a creator, they're looking for a solution, they're looking for a project, they're searching for something. That's normally what your long form is versus what your really short form is, which is your shorts. It is very difficult to monetize a YouTube channel off of shorts. However, shorts are a wonderful way to add subscribers. The problem being the fact that shorts and the people who subscribe off of shorts it's very difficult to get those people to convert over to watching your long form content. The people that watch you do something goofy for 15 seconds are not going to usually come back and watch you work on something for an hour and a half. They're just, the demographics there just don't pan out. It just doesn't make any sense. It can be a great way to grow your YouTube channel from the scratch and to get your name out there and to start getting people to notice you. But just go into it realizing that there's a good chance that the people that are subscribing to your channel on those shorts very likely will never really ever become long form subscribers. Maybe you're fantastic at it. Maybe you're able to present things in a better form, or you're able to be very, very interesting and create those people over there, but realize that that is going to be a challenge. Same can be said for trying to bring people over from Instagram and from TikTok. Those are passive channels. Those are passive media things. They feed you stuff. It is in your feed, whereas YouTube is a bit more of an active search. You're actively going after content, and they're different audiences. So go into it thinking that way. But for the vast majority of you, and for myself, for the most part, what you're going to be making is kind of more of a medium form content. You're making videos that are 8 to 20 minutes long, somewhere in that range. That's the vast majority of people that are on our YouTube channel, or that are in our genre, that are making stuff on their YouTube channels. And that's where most of your people are going to be. Now, I want to add a caveat here. Something that I will talk about in a future episode is how people are consuming your video and the importance of understanding how and where they are consuming your video, because it can change things quite a lot. And I'll give you a very basic understanding of that. If you do long form content, like really long form, like hour and a half, hour long content, chances are the people that are watching your video are not watching it on their phones. They're usually sitting at home on the couch, watching it on a computer or on a TV. Whereas if you have short form content, if you are 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, somebody's watching that on lunch break. They're watching that in the bathroom while they're hiding from work. They're watching it possibly sitting on the couch having a beer, whatever. But it's much easier to have that consumable content that's small, that's on a phone, versus longer form content that's typically not something. Most people don't want to hold their phone and watch a 2-hour long video on their phone. So realize that there's some difference there. And I promise you, I will show you how to get those analytics in a future video when we start talking about audience and that kind of thing. But it's something to be cognizant of, something to be aware of. There are different ways that people are going to consume your content. Now, I said 8 to 20 minutes. Why did I pick 8 minutes? That seems like a kind of an odd thing. Well, I'm glad you didn't ask, because I'm going to tell you. YouTube, especially those of us who are trying to be monetized and make money off of YouTube, does not run ad roll, mid-roll video ads on any video that's less than 8 minutes. So your medium form content, which is what I would consider this, needs to be at least 8 minutes long. If your video that you're working on is not 8 minutes long, I hate to tell you this, but it might not be worth making it. Unless you can make it interesting and make it last 8 minutes or more, maybe it's just not that great of a video. Now, I will be honest. Sometimes it makes sense to just put up a hot take video or something short that's snappy, that's interesting, and maybe you're not that interested in becoming monetized. That's fine. But you will notice a drastic change in revenue on videos that are 3 or 4 minutes long versus videos that are 8 to 10 minutes long. You get a much larger revenue chunk out of those longer videos because of those mid-roll ads, and YouTube generally tends to recommend things that are a little bit longer that they can run more ads on and also make more money on. So keep that in mind. If you're one of those creators that's out there that's making 3 or 4 minute videos and you're wondering why am I not getting any traction, well, it's probably because you need to make slightly longer videos. Now again, as I said before, make sure that it's interesting. Don't cheat your viewers by adding just fluff to be able to make a 3-minute video into an 8-minute video. Don't do that. That's not nice to do. It's not cool. But challenge yourself that if you're making that video, maybe change your camera angles. Focus on something else for a moment. Do some physical wrenchy stuff. Do some things that can add some content and some value to your video, and not just make it a really quick little tiny video that's easily consumable. On the flip side of that, there are also people who will be intimidated by a longer form video that they will not be intimidated by a shorter form video. So sometimes it does work out to be able to do shorter form stuff. Instead of a 30-minute how-to video, of 15-minute how-to video, a 12-minute how-to video. If there's enough that you can pare down to still make it consumable and still make it interesting, a lot of people are, let's be honest, not going to have the patience to sit through a video that's 20 or 30 minutes long to learn how to do a thing. They want to kind of get the hard points and get the really interesting stuff and then get back to what they're doing. Make sense? It's an interesting thing, and it's an interesting conversation to have. I've had this conversation with a ton of other content creators, and it's something a lot of people don't understand. Now, the last part I want to bring up about that is if you are a small channel, which the chances are you probably are, the key things that you need to hit for monetization are watch time and subscribers. At the filming of this video, you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers within a 365-day period. The big challenge you have usually is not necessarily the subscribers. There are going to be people that are interested in your stuff. You just got to get in front of them. The problem is the watch hours. And this goes back to that same thing about how long are your videos. If you're only doing videos that are 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes long, if somebody only watches 45% of your video, which is kind of where a lot of people average full completion, they're only going to watch for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Whereas if they watch for 45% of a 12-minute video, you're going to get a lot more watch time out of that. You're going to get a lot more watch hours out of that, and you're going to get towards monetization faster. It's kind of a little bit of a catch-22 kind of thing, where nobody's paying attention to my channel. How do I get people to pay attention to my channel? Well, it kind of depends. And I hate to be saying that, but it kind of depends. But that can be one of the biggest challenges, is if you make shorter form content, YouTube is not going to recommend it as much, and you're also going to fight that I can't get monetized thing, because now you got to just grind out video after video after video after video to try to get those watch hours, or pray that something catches and you go viral. Whereas if you make longer content, better content that's more engaging for a longer period of time, you can stack up those watch hours. Also, you have a much higher likelihood that YouTube's going to say, hey, you know what? We'll give this new creator a chance, and off they can go. But remember, it's up to you to make the content interesting. It's up to you to engage your customers, your viewers. It's up to you to make sure that you are successful. That's what this channel's all about. I'm gonna do what I can to try to help you guys. I did start a YouTube, Automotive YouTube support thing on Facebook, so I'm actually able to engage with a lot of other creators and people to ask me questions, and I'm going to kind of use that to feed some of the things that I want to answer here on this channel. I'm also at some point in time going to probably do some lives. I've got to get some subscribers going on this channel first, but I would like to be able to do some lives with this as well, to be able to engage right there and answer questions. I'm also very, very comfortable with sharing my analytics. So at some point in time, once we've got that launched, I will do some analytics sharing so I can actually show you my screen and show you what I'm talking about as far as with my own personal channel, and what works and what doesn't work, and why it works and how it works and where you find those things. There's a whole lot involved in this. I know that it's overwhelming for a lot of folks. I know that this is a big challenge for a lot of people, especially folks that maybe just didn't grow up in the digital era and they're not as comfortable with technology. I get it. I will do my very, very best to help educate you and give you all the keys, because I'm not a gatekeeping kind of guy. I'm going to give you all the keys I could possibly give you to open up all the gates, open up all the doors, and be as successful as possible. So anyways, I hope you maybe learned something. If you got any questions or anything, put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to respond back to you. I'm going to make these videos, I don't know, 1 or 2 a week, something like that, just kind of whenever I get a chance to do it. And hopefully you get something out of it. So thanks for being here. See you on the next one. Take care.